This
Boom.
meeting is being recorded.
This is being recorded. Hey, folks, we got Robert here. Robert's joining us. I told you guys he was the one of the gentlemen that took his time, put his effort in, drove. How you said you drove up from like LA area all the way out to Phoenix or something like that? So you drove pretty much all night, 6 hours. So Robert here drove
on a Friday.
On a Friday. Holy crap. He drove 6 hours to get himself up to Phoenix, up to Arizona for the showing with Adam Aaron. And he was able to get some videos while he was there of people asking questions. And I wanted to bring him here with us tonight. We've been waiting for this for a chance to give Robert an opportunity to explain what he experienced. And there's my kid. Hey, out. You're talking. Yeah, it always happens. So anyway, Robert, man, I'm freaking stoked, yes, brother. You made that trip. You got to meet some people. Yeah. I just want to hear your story. I want to hear your experience, what it felt like to be there, what it felt like to be around other retail investors. If you got to talk to some of them, what your experience was, how do you feel about them, and then what you saw with Adam Aaron?
Sure. Mike, I just want to first foremost just thank you for opening up the platform to just share and kind of collaborate on some of this stuff. As shareholders, I think it's important that we communicate, and keep some of the topics that are concerning hot. So thank you for allowing me to come on and share some of the things that I experienced while at the Phoenix AMC screening that Adam Aaron was hosting this past Friday. So I ended up recording a decent amount of videos and interactions between shareholders and Adam Aaron, and I was really proud of the I guess I was really proud of the type of questions that shareholders were bringing to the table and pressing on Adam. Obviously you're going to share the videos that I was able to capture. I want to apologize in advance. Some of the quality on the audio was pretty low, so you're going to have to either hook them up to like a JLabs or something like that and just kind of raise up the volume as much as you can. But then during like the second part of I would say the second half of the meets, the meet and greets, the quality got better because it got closer. So I was really impressed. I would say 75% of the people that did show up there, Mike, were they gave Adam Aaron quite a bit of praise, and they definitely they definitely give him the nod, type of energy. A lot of them were very appreciative of his efforts and his performance and whatnot. But then there was about 25% of them that were really coming in with the heavy hitting questions, and that's when I took the action and started recording a lot of those, and those are the ones actually that I had uploaded. So it's no bias, right? The reason these specific 5 as opposed to uploading all 12 was just because the 12 are basically the questions that we've all wanted answers to for weeks now, right? And so I'm really proud of these investors in our community, in the ape community and the mission. I will kind of tell you just a short story. So when I arrived there, I was in the wrong theater. I guess Titanic was showing in 2 different theaters, so I went into number 4 instead of number 8. So I'm sitting around, I'm waiting. I'm like, is this guy really coming or not? So I leave the theater. I walk back and forth. I see security everywhere, right, and staffing everywhere. So I ended up finding out from the front help desk that he is there, but he was actually in theater 8. So what I ended up doing, Mike, is I ended up waiting. I didn't even finish any of the movies. I just waited for Titanic to finish, and then made my way into the theater once I found out that it was over. And that's when people lined up and had a ton of questions for them, and that's when I began recording a lot of the interactions.
So you didn't have to watch that movie.
Say again?
You didn't have to sit through and watch that 3 hour long movie again, the Titanic.
No, no. Thank God. Um,
Sorry, anybody that
I
loves the
did.
Titanic. That was a good movie back in the day. It was a good love story. Not making fun of it, but I don't think I could sit through it again. So hats off to you for not having to.
Yeah, I did catch snippets of it, and it gave me some mixed vibes the whole time while I was there. I'm just like, oh my gosh, and then, you go through these roller coasters of up and downs because you've got a lot on your mind and you really want to get some stuff off your chest. And but it was, I will say, one of the things I did appreciate was the fact that Adam Aaron did show up, and he did take questions, right? And he did connect with, his shareholders. So I applaud him for that. Um, and again, I can't speak highly enough about the individuals that came at him with some solid questions. And I would encourage you guys to check out the videos, share them with, your influencers, other YouTube influencers, and just they can download them right from my, I guess it's not even a YouTube channel. I just have a YouTube account and I just upload them to that. I don't even have a channel, but it's underneath my name. And yeah, you guys can download them there and kind of critique them, and kind of, I know how YouTubers, especially AMC YouTubers, like to dissect things and kind of add their like, oh, well, he said this and this and that. So, I'm hoping everybody plays really nice in a sense where, you know, um, he does have a very pressing job, yet we do have business to take care of, and more transparency, I think, is kind of where we're at with all this. It's just a little bit more communication and transparency about some of the whys of what he's doing and why he's doing it. So one of the things I want to advise is, if for
Real quick,
my
sorry. I wanted to make sure if people made it this far in the video, because sometimes people lose and they want to get out. He did upload. I've got one right here. He's got several that he's uploaded. I believe at least 5 of them. These are interviews that have been done. If you guys look him up on YouTube, I'll be posting it in my community section on YouTube. I'll be posting it on Twitter and other places as well. You guys should easily be able to find it. But it looks like it is under Robert Alonso. You'll see him on the screen right there. Alonso. Robert Alonso, like you said, it's just his YouTube. This man, guys, you need to understand, this man took the time and the energy to do this for us, the community, and he uploaded these videos. So go in, watch them, listen, learn, and dissect them however you want to do them. But be nice to this man. He went out of his way for you. So yes, Robert Alonso, guys.
appreciate that. The funny saying that goes around the YouTube community, especially some particular ones. We do it for the kids. we're doing it for the kids. So
You mean the one
yeah,
that won't
so
leave my room? The one that won't
right.
leave my room right now, and I'm like sitting here like I told him 4 times to leave, and he's ignoring daddy.
So just to kind of segue back into this is what I would advise, the apes do for the foreseeable future. But we've got another screening that Adam Aaron is hosting in Denver, right? The details are all over his Twitter. That's tomorrow. I know that there's a handful of you apes that are planning on going out there. Would highly encourage you guys to get there early, right? Connect with each other, maybe get there an hour early, connect with each other, make sure you guys are asking the right questions, and maybe even collaborate a little bit on who's going to be asking what. And please make sure that you have somebody designated there to bring the recordings, and even share them with Mike here, just like I've done. We would both appreciate that, because even though the current wave, I'll call it phase 1, of our, let's say, our meet with Adam Aaron on February 10th, that was phase 1. But we need to get better at phase 2, and then there's phase 3. Phase 3 is this Charlotte location. And I know we've got some very intelligent people with some really good questions that need answers. So, I want to encourage you guys to get in there, connect. And if you don't get a seat, okay, I'm not saying you have to be in the theater, in his theater, in order to get in front of Aaron. You can rent, you can buy another movie ticket, right? And you can sit in that theater until the movie that he's watching is over, and make your way into whatever theater he's in, right? Just be respectful, you know, and cordial. You know, I think all that's important to do. There is security there, obviously, you know, uh, but nothing to be alarmed about. And yeah, you know, have all your ducks lined up when you do get in front of them. One of the other things I would recommend, some, you know, whoever's, you know, deciding to show up and record, like I said, if you're going to show up, please record and share it to Mike. He'll leave you his email address. He'll drop the details down there for you, and you guys can collect and collaborate and kind of do something very similar to this, which I think the community needs right now, which is more answers, right? More clarity on the why. And this is a really good opportunity for us to do it in phase 2 at Denver, right? With you guys out in Denver, we need you guys to step up, you know, get in there and record this. You know, we didn't do that well in Phoenix because we weren't organized, but now you guys have a little bit more time to get organized. And Charlotte, especially Charlotte, because you guys are up on the 16th. So whoever's in Charlotte, you know, get in there, get there early. You guys collaborate, you guys communicate. You know, if you can, drop comments, you know, on the YouTube comments when this goes up, and find out who's going where. And look, this is your guys' money, right? This is your money, right? A lot of you have invested, you know, I know some of you have invested tens of thousands of dollars into this, right? And it's a good chunk of change. You know, don't, you know, take advantage of this opportunity, you know, to get in there, you know, and catch the vibes, you know, off Adam, and report back to us. Let us know what you're thinking too. So, yeah, so that's really what I have, you know, regarding just some direction on how we should handle, you know, this type of, you know, content gathering, and more specifically, the thing I like to call like ape unity. You know, I think we just need more of the ape unity. Now, I know that, you know, some YouTubers are going to get this content and they're going to pull out every single, you know, negative aspect of it. And I expect that, but I'd just say, you know, don't bring that into the theater, right? You know, if you treat him with respect, treat Adam with dignity, you know, and you know, appreciate the moment that you do have to really ask your questions and just be as professional as possible. So that's my message, really, all in all. I'm just another, you know, shareholder, just like you, Mike, and you know, apparently like the 4 million other apes out there. And yeah, so I'd say, you know, start getting busy, you know, start, you know, get your travels in order, you know, make your way down there. I know there's a lot of apes out in the Boston area, you know, and not too sure about Charlotte, but I'm sure you guys are out there too. And if you guys need to drive a few hours, just make it work, you know, make it happen. So,
So it was quite the experience. So a couple things that I learned from this guys is he didn't go into the movie. He was able to go to a different movie, and once it was over, he was able to go in. So there wasn't like a you better go watch the movie Adam's watching to get you a chance to talk to him, because that actually was a question that was asked by someone. And it sounds like that a good maybe 20, 25+% of people were actually wanting to ask Adam Aaron questions. I get 75% were in awe. They were in that moment. You know, Adam is been elevated as a silverback, a very important person to a lot of people. But it does sound like more and more folks were willing to get out there and ask those questions, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that, guys. As you can see, Robert here didn't go with any bad intentions. He didn't stir up any trouble. He didn't cause any problems. He went there with, you know, good intentions, because he's right. It is our money, and there's nothing wrong with us finding out more. And Robert, if you don't mind, someone had told me you could clarify this. Was that I heard the theater, the tickets were sold out, but were the seats full? Was it packed?
There were a few seats that weren't occupied when I first initially made my way in there just to peek around. And there were more like the handicap, you know, handicap seats, and then some at the very, very bottom. Now that could be because people intended to go and then, but just weren't able to make it. Who knows? You know, but at the end of the day, doesn't matter. You know, I did talk to one shareholder while I was there. He was taking a phone call outside, and I was just like, "Hey, did you notice any empty seats where I can kind of pop in and hang out in there?" You know, and he basically told me, "Yeah, there is." And so towards the end, I made my way in there and found myself you know, a seat. I don't know if I should say that, but I did end up, you know, making my way in there. So
I mean, you didn't take any candy from the dollar store in with you, right, Robert?
no, No. I knew my intentions were very clear
Yeah,
while I was
absolutely.
going there, and it wasn't necessarily to watch a movie. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Um, but even though, yeah, so I do want to share a couple things with you, Mike,
Yeah.
regarding the type of videos and the type of content you're going to be able to find. Um, the part one, I named them in basically parts, shareholder, AMC shareholder, February 10th, I think is what I named it. But I have part one through part five. And part one just covers, the Philip Ladder question and the 66 cents and why we sold at that price. Some really good information there. I highly recommend you guys check that out. Part two talks about we had a shareholder that brought up the QSIP number and if that changes. Adam Aaron went along to say it doesn't change, it shouldn't change. At least he doesn't believe it's going to change. Like a little bit more clarity on that, right? If the QSIP number changes. The same in part two, they also talked about GNS and West Christian, you know, um, and then share intel. So a lot of questions from part two. Part three is, it's not the best one, but a shareholder did ask about, the EBITDA, where Adam Aaron would like to see the EBITDA. Obviously, you guys can be able to check all that out. Part four and five are probably the absolute best. Okay. So, I mean, we had this particular shareholder that just slayed it. I mean, they talked about taking legal action. If he's thought about taking legal action, talked about predatory short selling. Adam believes it's a yes, that there is predatory short selling, and that, AMC is basically being manipulated. And yeah, and talked about, fellow delivers and then talked about West Christian. Again, another share intel question. Why don't we do share intel type stuff? And then when pounce, they talked about when pounce and raising more money. Part five is the same individual, but he covered something a little bit interesting. It talks about a rights offering. And rights offering is basically a way to get, the apes involved into, coming up with money. And he thinks there might be an avenue there for us, to be able to do a rights offering. He just has to look into the legalities and all that stuff. And obviously there's some details. There's always some type of devil's in the details for that.
Now, I already started the tweet thread for it, but do you have a Twitter account?
I don't. I tried making one. You're not going to believe it, but I've used 3 different laptops trying to create an email address with 3 different email addresses, and it keeps giving me this Twitter error code that is so bizarre. But I've tried it 3 times now in the past week and a half with 3 different laptops, 3 separate emails, and even had my wife try and do it, and we weren't able to to create an account. So, or else I would have, used that channel to get these images or these videos up. So, in short, no, I don't.
Okay. I just want to
But
make
here
sure
are
I was
here
making
are
the,
go
the
ahead.
tweet. I'm just making the tweet thread now to get it going. And I was like, oh, I could tag you in it. That's fine.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't. I've been trying to, but there's just, I don't know what the deal is. So there are some questions I hope that the community will ask on my behalf, or more specifically, just even ask in general. And I'd like to cover, a couple of them. Okay. I really want to know, can we push the reverse split back? Because I don't know if we necessarily need to vote on this and what the urgency is for. I'm just
Right.
not bought into why we need to do that. And if we can't push it back, I want to know why not. That's one of the things I wish I would have, had the chance to ask Adam. And then, and another question I want to ask is, what happens if not everyone receives their proxy statements, to vote? That's a big question. I think, I'm not 100% comfortable that these brokers that we're using are competent enough to do that. Maybe they are. I don't know. I'm not fully convinced that they will. Several questions. I'm just going to kind of touch on some of this, but can we, if the reverse split does happen, no matter what Adam Aaron says, whatever, and it has to happen, can we get an APES representatives to verify the vote count and have it live by chance? You know, those are the type of questions I really want to know, because I do believe that there are more than just 4 million of us, right? We haven't talked about our, our friends, across the pond, South America, in Asia. We haven't talked about any of those guys, and I don't even think they're available to us big. I don't know if that's 15% of the market share or more, but I'd imagine it's pretty significant.
Well, yeah, they say a chart I saw that our German apes is almost equivalent to our American apes was the amount of holders, the pie. So I mean, yes, I mean there is a lot of international investors, especially in Canada as well. I mean, I see it all the time on my YouTube and everywhere. There's a lot of investors all over the world.
Mhm.
Well, Robert, anything else, my man? I got that upload, or I went ahead and tweeted that out. We'll get this video uploaded. Guys, you've heard it. I agree with Robert, guys. Look, go if you can, be professional, meet with Adam, experience it, ask the questions, go with an open mind. Don't go with anger or pissed off. You know, I've been frustrated as hell. My money's on the line, but at the same time, I would be very professional if I had the opportunity to do it. Get the questions kind of portrayed to you, what you want to ask. Ask those hard questions because we got a big time vote coming up. This is serious business. And you need to get a
Yeah.
feeling. Go to the source. I'm not the source. The rest of the YouTubers and social media
Right.
influencers, we can make up all these, we think it's this and we think it's that kind of way. But if you go and meet this man, Adam, in person, you get to see him and you ask those questions that are bothering you the most, if you can read people, you can sense it, you'll get a feeling of what you can get out of it. And I think that would be the best way to, I mean, that's the whole point of Adam touring, in my opinion, is so he can meet people and talk to them and keep that
Mhm.
shareholder base and that relationship going. And I feel like at the same time, obviously he wants that yes vote. So he's kind of touring to get that vote. So why don't you go and find out why he wants that vote? You know what I'm saying? Like, go to the source itself, get a good, strong
Right.
feeling. Now you weren't in there for his speech, right? He usually gives like a 10-minute speech before the movie starts. So you missed that, correct?
I didn't catch that. No.
Okay. Yeah, no, you caught what
But
I
I
said, or
did.
you caught what I said, or you didn't catch the speech he gave?
I did not catch a speech he gave before the movie.
Okay. No worries, no worries. I know other people did. There was videos up, running around. So, Robert, I'm proud of you, dude. As another fellow investor, it's guys like you that give me courage to stay in these kind of plays because it's you taking and sacrificing. Whether you believe it or not, you sacrificed to go do what you did. And I'm sure there's going to be people that watch this tonight, tomorrow, next week, whenever.
Mhm.
They're going to feel encouraged knowing that another investor like you took this serious, and did something like this. So please know that I know for me and everybody else, man, you really stepped up here to, that night and tonight as well.
Thank you, Mike. You're doing a lot too in the community, and I really appreciate all your efforts. If there's one thing also that I'd like to ask Aaron, now this may not be something, maybe an appropriate question to ask him, but at some point, it would be nice if, Adam Aaron will allow us to, show up, once a month at AMC corporate headquarters to ask more questions, right? To get more definitive answers, to meet the board, right? Like that would make my world if I could meet the board and look in these people's eyes and see what their agendas are, right?
Yeah.
Like what are they working on? What are the hot topics? Like I need to be in that. I don't want to have to theorize and think, or guess what's going on with our money, with our investments, right? Now, I'm only saying this because I am planning on investing in AMC even after a squeeze, right? Let's say we do squeeze. Beautiful, right? I'm just going to take more of that money and invest it. And I think a lot of apes want to do the same thing, right? They want to take a good portion of it, put that back in the AMC and let their kids have that. I mean, that's if you know, that for me would be, almost like a trophy, right?
Yeah.
It's like a trophy. These are my trophy shares, right? I
Yeah.
was able to make this much money and I'm leaving this much in there and I can rant about it and show people like, in the future. So it's interesting, Adam Aaron's in a very unusual situation where he's got tremendous retail support unlike any other stock out there. And you would think he would engage the community, you know, with more transparency and more of an open door policy. I know he's already got, you know, a decent amount going on, but we're a pretty sharp bunch, you know. I'm convinced of that.
Well, I would love nothing more to see AMC go back to being a dividend paying company. I mean, how
Hmm.
cool would it be
Yeah,
to buy up? Because that's what I want to do with a lot of the money is I want to just buy dividend stocks, man. Like, and just
yeah,
buy them and hold them and set them over here and, just let those things make some money. So I would be the same way. I mean, as much as it's been a nightmare some nights, some days with this, I'd love nothing more than them to be, paying out dividends and I could just hold a few thousand over an account and let that puppy do its thing for the rest of my freaking life. And like you said, pass it on.
yeah,
Um, so I agree, man.
exactly. Yeah,
I agree. And I just hope, folks, if you're listening, like we do these things, I want to do these things because I know how bad you guys are. I read your comments. I get the text message. I just had a phone call from one of you tonight, Andrew, who called me. We talked for a little bit. I know the concerns, guys, because I have the same concerns you do. I have the same feelings you do. Obviously, you see it in my videos. Today was a frustrating, emotional, pissed off day for me, but it was nice to get on here tonight and have a good conversation with Robert. So I greatly
yeah,
appreciate that. But I feel your
yeah,
pain.
man. Hey,
I
I
feel
mean,
your
we're
pain.
all frustrated, you know, and each and every one of us exerts it a little bit differently. But it's, you know, at the end of the day, it's business, and we need to
Yeah.
get down to business, you know. And you know, we've got some expectations that surely do need to be that do need attention. So, Mike, thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else
Yeah,
you want to
Robert.
cover with me?
No, I think we got most of it. I'm gonna get this uploaded and then I've already started pushing out the first video. I haven't watched it. So as soon as we get off here, I'm gonna watch it. And then I'm gonna
You'll
go
love it.
into, yeah, I'm gonna go into his account and there's 5 of them and I'm gonna watch all 5
Yeah,
of them because I want to get a feeling. And then guys, after you watch them, first off, have courage. Remember, Adam's just another man that wears pants like you do.
yeah,
He's not superhuman. He's not, some superstar special person that you can't approach. That's actually a good part of Adam. Adam is very approachable. I've heard it
yeah.
from Robert and I've heard it from other people.
Hmm.
I don't think Adam's, that type of I don't want nothing to do with you, Brad Pitt kind of guy. You know what I mean? Like he's going to be approachable. He asks, gets a line if people comes up. So don't
Hmm.
be afraid, guys. You don't have to
Yeah,
go in there worried about anything. Just ask the questions, man. And I think you're going to find out in these videos, especially it sounds like on series 4 and 5, episodes 4 and 5, you're going to see potentially some good questions were asked too. So encourage you guys big time, man. Get out there before this vote, get your answers, get your feelings, share those. If you want, you can send them to me just like Robert did, guys. I will bring you on. If we can zoom in, if I can do a live stream with you. I know I'm supposed to have tomorrow night at the actual Denver. I have a gentleman that's coming from San Francisco out to Denver flying in. We've already tested the system. He's going to go live with me. So I'm hoping that'll
yeah.
work. And he's going to actually film a lot of it live with me as long as he doesn't get busted for it.
Beautiful.
So if everything goes through, we'll have somebody tomorrow night too doing the
Yeah.
live. And then Dave
There you
Styles
go.
90. Yep. And Dave Styles 90 is going to be out there in Charlotte. I've already tried every which way to Sunday to figure out how to get there, but it's a 4.5 hour drive. It'd be a 9 hour day. But I have these kids with no one watching them. So I'm like, man, how am I going to make this possible on a Thursday night? I'm like, because I want to
Yeah,
go.
man. It
I
is
mean,
not easy.
after doing Occupy SEC 2023, after meeting people, I'm like, dude, I would love nothing more than to go meet 60, 70, 80 of my fellow retail investors in AMC community
See
and
it
be able
like
to
that.
talk to Adam, excuse me, Adam as well. But running out of time down to 2 minutes. Robert, once again, thank you,
Hey,
man. And we'll see you on the board.
last thing,
Yes, sir.
last thing. So the videos that I uploaded, I know there's probably, I'm going to preempt this, but some YouTubers are going to be like, hey, why is it only like 4 minutes or 5 minute videos? So for whatever reason, my phone at the time would only allow me to record in increments of time before it just stopped. So some videos are like 5 minutes, some are 6.5 minutes, and I couldn't tell you why. It just kept on doing that, or else I would have recorded all the way through. But it's kind of nice that it did time out because then I got to break it up with the people that I thought added the most value for the community there.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Cool. Well, you have a good night, brother. Once again, thank you so
All right.
much. And we'll chat soon, brother.
Thank you, Mike.
All righty.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.